The moon hung high in the night sky, casting a silvery glow through the dense canopy of the forest. Shadows danced between the trees, flickering as the wind rustled the leaves. Manny Tanglefoot, a young halfling girl with bright green eyes and orange hair tied in playful ponytails, moved silently through the underbrush. Her dress, once fancy and pristine, was now tattered and dirty from days of travel and battles. Beside her were two goblins, Gruk and Zik. Gruk, the larger and more muscular of the two, had green skin that seemed to blend into the forest shadows. He moved with a hunter's grace, eyes scanning the surroundings for any sign of danger. Zik, smaller and carrying an assortment of tools and weapons, followed closely behind, his sharp eyes and quick hands ready to set traps at a moment's notice. The trio had been tracking an orc warband for days, determined to put an end to their reign of terror. Tonight, they would make their stand. They had chosen a narrow pass in the forest, where the trees grew close together and the ground was uneven and treacherous. It was the perfect place for an ambush. Manny crouched behind a fallen log, her heart pounding in her chest. She could hear the orcs approaching, their heavy footsteps and guttural voices growing louder with each passing moment. She glanced at Gruk and Zik, who were hidden in the shadows, ready to spring their traps. The first orc appeared, a hulking brute with a scarred face and a wicked grin. He sniffed the air, sensing something was amiss, but it was too late. With a swift motion, Gruk activated a tripwire, sending a spiked log swinging down from the trees. The orc let out a roar of pain as the log struck him, sending him crashing to the ground. Zik moved quickly, setting off a series of traps that ensnared the remaining orcs. Nets fell from the trees, and pits opened up beneath their feet, swallowing them whole. The forest was filled with the sounds of confusion and panic as the orcs struggled against their bonds. Manny stepped forward, her sword of wounding gleaming in the moonlight. She chanted a hex, her voice steady and calm, and a dark energy enveloped the trapped orcs. They thrashed and screamed, but there was no escape. "Gruk, Zik, now!" she called out. The two goblins emerged from the shadows, weapons drawn, and together they faced the remaining orcs. Manny's small stature belied her immense courage, and with her allies by her side, she felt invincible. The battle was fierce but brief. The orcs, caught off guard and outmatched, fell one by one. As the last orc fell, Manny looked around at her companions. Gruk's chest heaved with exertion, and Zik's hands trembled with the adrenaline of combat, but they were victorious. Manny smiled, feeling a sense of camaraderie with the goblins. They had faced a great danger together and emerged triumphant. She knew that this was just the beginning of their adventures, but with Gruk and Zik by her side, she was ready for whatever challenges lay ahead. "Good work, everyone," she said, her voice filled with pride. "Let's move on. We have more ground to cover." Together, they disappeared into the forest, ready for the next chapter of their journey.